The night of November 13th, 1974, began like any other on Ocean Avenue in the quiet village of Amityville, New York. By dawn, it would be remembered as the scene of one of the most chilling family murders in American history. The DeFeo house, a large Dutch colonial with dark green shutters, sat in eerie silence under the flickering streetlights. Inside, the stillness hid something unthinkable. Ronald Butch DeFeo Jr., 23 years old, lived there with his parents, Ronald Sr. and Louise, and his 4 younger siblings, Dawn, Allison, Mark, and John Matthew. Outwardly, they were a typical middle-class family. Ronald Sr. worked as a car dealer, a stern and sometimes explosive father who demanded respect. Louise, warm and soft-spoken, tried to keep the household calm. But behind the facade, tension simmered. Butch had grown restless and resentful, known to drink heavily and dabble in heroin. His relationship with his father was a constant battle of pride and control. That evening, neighbors saw nothing unusual. The family's lights went out early, the DeFeos seemingly tucked into their beds. Hours later, the silence would shatter. One by one, as they slept, each member of the DeFeo family was shot with a .35 caliber Marlin rifle. The shots echoed in the still house, yet no one called for help. Not a single neighbor reported hearing the gunfire. The mystery of that silence would haunt investigators. At dawn, Butch appeared at a local bar, frantic. "You gotta help me," he told friends. "I think my parents have been shot." He led them back to the house, his voice trembling, his face pale. They followed him inside, the smell of gunpowder still hanging in the air. In the dim light of the bedrooms, the horror unfolded. His parents and 4 siblings lay dead, each shot in their beds. No signs of struggle, no forced entry. The entire family wiped out. Police arrived to a scene of controlled chaos. The bodies were carefully laid out, each face down, as if arranged. Shell casings were neatly collected near the victims. Butch sobbed as officers questioned him, spinning a tale of a mob hit. He claimed he'd barely escaped. Detectives at first were inclined to believe the story. The DeFeos were known to have connections in the car business, and whispers of organized crime floated around town. But as the hours passed, cracks appeared in Butch's account. His timeline shifted. His emotions seemed rehearsed, even forced. Gunshot residue tests pointed back to him. And when investigators searched the family's boathouse, they found the Marlin rifle hidden beneath a tarp. By nightfall, suspicion hardened into certainty. Ronald DeFeo Jr. was arrested. Under the bright lights of the interrogation room, the facade crumbled. Butch confessed in bursts of anger and defiance. "Once I started, I just couldn't stop," he said. "It went so fast." He claimed he had been driven by years of abuse from his father, painting himself as a victim of a violent household. But the calculated precision of the killings told another story. Each shot fired with deadly accuracy. Each victim killed in their sleep without waking the others. The trial that followed in late 1975 gripped the nation. The defense argued insanity, suggesting that voices in Butch's head compelled him to kill. They spoke of demonic whispers, of an evil force that had overtaken him. The prosecution countered with cold, clinical evidence. The rifle, the ballistics, the methodical nature of the murders. Witnesses testified to Butch's long history of drug use, his violent temper, and his growing resentment toward his family. In the courtroom, Butch sat impassive, his dark eyes betraying little. The jury watched as prosecutors laid out the brutal sequence of that night. The victims' photographs, their lives ended in an instant, cast a shadow over the proceedings. When the verdict came, it was swift and unanimous. Ronald DeFeo Jr. was found guilty of 6 counts of second-degree murder. He was sentenced to 6 consecutive life terms, one for each member of the family he had slain. Even after his conviction, the story refused to fade. The DeFeo house, with its distinctive quarter-moon windows, became infamous. A year later, a new family, the Lutzes, moved in and claimed to experience terrifying paranormal events, cold spots, unexplained noises, and an oppressive sense of evil. Their account became the basis for The Amityville Horror, a book and film that blurred the line between fact and legend. For decades, people have argued over what truly happened in that house. Was Butch simply a disturbed young man consumed by rage and drugs, or was something darker at work? Investigators never fully explained why none of the neighbors heard the rifle's shots, nor could they account for how 6 people were killed without any sign of struggle. Ronald DeFeo Jr. remained behind bars for the rest of his life. His story a chilling reminder of how the facade of family can hide unimaginable darkness. He died in prison in March 2021, still insisting at times that others were involved, still feeding the mystery that began on that cold November night. The Amityville murders endure as one of America's most notorious true crimes, not only for the brutality of the act but for the lingering questions it left behind. To this day, the house on Ocean Avenue stands, a silent witness to the night when a family's secrets ended in blood and legend. If stories like this keep you hooked, hit subscribe for more.